cabbage has seen better days. The side that's cut is turning gray. The mushrooms are all brown and dry. The potatoes have reached for the sky. The onions are putting out new green shoots. The carrots are covered with hairy roots. The Chinese cabbage is limp as a sock. Baby, it's time to make stock. 'Cause everything grows and everything dies, and it all comes back in another guise. All this stuff needn't go to waste. Instead it'll give my soup more taste. Open the fridge and see what we got. Haul it on out before it starts to rot. Chop it all up and put it in the pot. Baby, it's time to make stock. Sunday's chicken is done and gone. Save the bones, put the stock pot on. If the thing came whole and complete, you can throw in the head and the feet. I'm told the heads of fish are fine with celery tops and a little white wine. Eyeballs may give someone a shock, but they sure make mighty nice stock. 'Cause everything grows and everything dies, and it all comes back in another guise. All this stuff needn't go to waste. Instead it'll give my soup more taste. Open the fridge and see what we got. Haul it on out before it starts to rot. Chop it all up and put it in the pot. Baby, it's time to make stock. Now this process also works with songs that end in the middle or just go wrong. If you've got a tune that won't go right, or you find that the whole thing's trite, here's a chorus that can't keep a verse. It started out fine, but it just gets worse. Here's one nice line in a pile of schlock. Baby, it's time to make stock. 'Cause everything grows and everything dies, and it all comes back in another guise. Whether it's soup or whether it's art, you can just cut out those yucky parts. Open your mind up, see what you got. Haul it on out before it starts to rot. Chop it all up and put it in the pot. Baby, it's time to make stock. Everything grows and everything dies, and it all comes back in another guise. All this stuff needn't go to waste. Instead it'll give my soup more taste. Open the fridge and see what we got. Haul it on out before it starts to rot. Chop it all up and put it in the pot. Baby, it's time to make stock. Baby, it's time to make stock.
Step outside, you just don't know. You step outside, you just let go. And in that movement and in that fall, and in that instant it all comes to a halt. Afterlife, afterlife. I'm sitting here wondering what comes up. Afterlife, afterlife. You're a little off, you're not yourself. You're a little off, you call for help. It's off to the doctors and off for some tests. It turns out to be more than just bed rest. Afterlife, afterlife. We're sitting here wondering what comes up. Afterlife, afterlife. One foot in front of the other. One laugh longing for more. One kiss blown to the one you love as you turn to choose which door will be the door. You're on the plane, you're flying somewhere. You're on the plane, you're slightly scared, a little bit turbulent, a little rough air. You're holding your breath and saying a prayer. Afterlife, afterlife. You're sitting here wondering what comes up. Afterlife, afterlife. One foot in front of the other. One laugh longing for more. One kiss blown to the one you love as you turn to choose which door will be the door. get in your car, you're on the road. You get in the car, you're headed home. Suddenly headlights are headed right at you. Somebody lost control. Afterlife, you're sitting there wondering what comes up. Afterlife. One foot in front of the other, one laugh longing for more, one kiss blown to the one you love as you turn to choose which door will be the door. Afterlife, you're sitting there wondering what comes up. Afterlife, you're sitting there wondering what comes up. Afterlife.
The sun rose, the sun set. People called it time. It's an old story. How precious is this time? You told me that you needed some and wanted none of mine. It's an old story told one more time. And now, what am I gonna do with all this time? With all this time. You can't touch it with your fingers, but you feel it moving on, and you know when it's gone, it's gone. I know that heart inside you is as golden as the sun. It's an old story. I'm just not the one. And now, what am I gonna do with all this time? With all this time. Ooh. And now, what am I gonna do with all this time? With all this time. Ooh. And now, what am I gonna do with all this time? With all this time.
A covenant is a promise made to ourselves and others about how we want to treat each other.
These promises are ideals. and this document is a record of our highest aspirations.
If we find ourselves breaking these promises, this covenant will serve as a reference and a reminder of our agreements.
This is a living document and will be reviewed and updated as we grow into our SUUSI mission.
The mission of SUUSI is to provide a one-week experience evoking the best within us, in concert with Unitarian Universalist principles.
SUUSI offers the opportunity to share an intergenerational environment of love, personal freedom, ethics, and joy in an intentional, non-judgmental community.
Safety. We're all responsible for creating an emotionally, physically, and spiritually safe space for all participants.
Trust. We offer our authentic selves, allowing ourselves to be vulnerable and holding the vulnerability of others with the greatest care.
Validation. We see, hear, and value each other for who we are with all the expressions of our identities.
Affirmation. We show appreciation for the gifts each person brings to this community.
Accountability. We strive to act as if everything we do matters for the well-being of our SUUSI community.
Reconciliation. We agree to enter into truth and reconciliation processes when conflicts or disagreements arise.
These promises are ideals, and this document is a record of our highest aspirations.
If we find ourselves breaking these promises, this covenant will serve as a reference and a reminder of our agreements.
Welcome to our worship service. I'm the Reverend Kimberley Debus, a member of the Nurture staff, and it is a joy to be with you again here at the center of our week together. Our Wednesday services are usually led by our creative teens, but 18 months of online school, online extracurricular activities, and online socializing is really anxious and in what is already an anxious time for the life of all humans. And it means that this year, our teens are taking time that they need to be with one another and strengthen their connections amongst each other. I'm certain that when we are back in person together, the teens will bring to us their sparkle, their wit, their creativity, and their faith in a beautiful worship. So in the meanwhile, I invite you to join me and the Reverend Jan Taddeo as we attend to our own weary and anxious spirits. Tonight is meditative and contemplative, with words and music woven together. You will hear a number of readings. I invite you to notice words and phrases that resonate with you, maybe even jot them down and allow them to become texts for further reflection. Some of our songs will act as readings in and of themselves, but many will invite you to sing along as they're familiar or easy to pick up chants or repetitive songs. This will distract your analytical brain so that your spirit can be free to be nourished. There is no one right way to be present for the service. You may find a comfortable position, or you may choose to move. You may choose to close your eyes or focus on the screen or focus on other things, or just let your eyes rest unfocused. You may choose to sit quietly or knit or doodle or write. Do what is needed to attend to your spirit. I invite you now to breathe as deeply as you're able and prepare for our time together.
Hello, beloveds. I am so glad you are here with us this evening. Before we officially begin our service, I want to share with you an important activity that we've been involved in for years, since we've been in Cullowhee, that we have been supporting the community table Last year, in our virtual SUUSI, we contributed $2,460. That's great. The Community Table is a 501c3 whose mission is to provide nutritious meals to the neighbors in need in their environment, in a welcoming environment. And their vision has been that no one in Jackson County, North Carolina goes to bed hungry. Many in our SUUSI community have volunteered at the Community Table. And I'm going to put that back up because I want you to make sure you can see the ways to contribute. Many in our community have volunteered here and have found it very fulfilling to get to know and be part of that welcoming environment. And there are testimonials to what the work that they do on their website that say things like, the Community Table has really been a blessing to me and my family. If it wasn't for the table and the people of Jackson County, we would not have a meal sometimes. There are days when the Community Table provides me with my first and only meal, and a well-balanced meal too. The staff and volunteers are always friendly and caring. If the table wasn't there, I'd be hungry and lonely too. I am disabled and on a fixed income with 3 children. Without your help, it would be hard to make it through the month. I just invite you to visit their website if you want to give online and be very generous as you can be. And I know not everyone here has the means to do that, but for those who do, any gift of any size will be greatly appreciated. If you prefer to send a check, you need to send it to their post office box, and that address is here, and all this information is also available on their website. So now, another deep breath. Our service this evening is centered around writings from this book, Shelter in This Place, Meditations on 2020, edited by Meg Riley, who is the co-moderator of the Unitarian Universalist Association. Here are some excerpts from her introduction. One of the greatest blessings of being part of a spiritual community, even one that is loosely woven, is that our own experiences loop into those of other people's over and over. We are not all having the same pandemic, but because of the connections of Unitarian Universalism, we can know how it's going for other people with other lives. It's the heart-spoken words of people we are connected to, both people known and unknown to us, that keep us human, that resonate with our own pain and joy, strength and despair. This anthology from Unitarian Universalists about their pandemic experiences is offered as a testament to our collective grit and grief, rage and resistance, love and loneliness. The readings come from a variety of perspectives, identities, and geographies, and were written throughout the long year. These are not sugar-coated or superficial prayers. They are the honest utterances of human hearts. In a world of half-truths and lies, it is a balm to be genuine with each other. Call it prayer, call it honest reflection, call it poetry. These writers speak from their hearts, summoning words from the deepest places. They express faith that is personal and collective, grounded and full of longing, authentic faith. My deep hope is that this collection of writings allows each one of us to know that even in the separateness of our masked and socially distanced grief, we are not mourning alone. May the companionship of these writers' words allow us to unclench and our breath to ease.
Our first reading is called Solstice, Litany for the Long Darkness by Edna O. Dene. I will not meet darkness with fear in my heart. I will breathe in peace and breathe out fear. Breathe in curiosity and breathe out fear. Breathe in growth and breathe out fear. Breathe in patience and breathe out fear of the dark which does not serve me. I cast out the binaries of dark and light, wrong and right. I cast out that false naming. I watch and wait for the longest dark night. I cherish the blessing of the long dark night. I await my return to the longest, darkest night. You who taught me stillness, you who gave me depth, you who held me the longest and hold me still. I return to you, darkness, again and again, dissolve into the deep to be made myself, nurtured by your very nature. Gratefully, humbly, I return, renewed in your healing touch.
When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace.
God is Sleeping on the Couch Tonight by Emily DeTar-Burt. People are told faith gives you comfort. This is faith too, processing the pain, or not. Washing yet another set of dishes as the world gets ready to collapse into the sun or into death, after death, after death. God and I are not on speaking terms. I no longer know what to believe, and that is faith too. What is mercy when you're on the phone with someone who just lost their husband, their child's father, with no way to touch them as they died? The holy can sort this out in a Bible verse some other day. Faith is leaving behind the God everyone else says will be there for you and showing up for people anyway.
There is a love holding me. There is a love holding all that I love. There is a love holding all. I rest in this love. There is a love holding us. There is a love holding all that we love. There is a love holding all. We rest in this love. We rest in this love. We rest in this
Making Masks by Amanda Poppy. It made sense in the beginning, I guess. They, whoever they is, the WHO, the CDC, some long form article in the Atlantic, had just told us that actually we should be wearing masks. It was early days and you couldn't buy a mask to save your life. In a month, you'd be able to order masks with your favorite cartoon characters and sports teams and presidential candidates on them. But back then, people were wrapping bandanas around their faces and pulling up turtlenecks. The New York Times published a guide to making your own mask, and suddenly I knew why I had been hoarding quilting fabric for years without any actual knowledge of quilting. I had a sewing machine. I had the fabric. I had a measuring tape. Surely I could do this. My first few attempts were a bit crooked. It took a while to figure out what kind of elastic worked best. I went through an ill-fated phase of trying to use pipe cleaners for nose pieces, but all in all, I was right. I could do this. Once there were enough for my family, I made them for my uncle who lived alone and isolated, for my parents who were only leaving the house once every 2 weeks for groceries, for my friend down the block who wasn't at all handy with a needle. The mask making industry took off around me, and at some point it became clear that I could buy masks everywhere, from Target to Etsy. And honestly, they probably would have been better made and a better use of money if you really counted the cost of my time. But once I had started, I found I couldn't stop. I didn't want to. I fit the sewing into odd times of day, cutting and pinning fabric one afternoon and adding the elastic the next morning. I perfected the size my older child liked and made sure she had as many bright colors as her heart desired. I figured out a different way to do the elastic so it didn't rub against my younger daughter's ears. I offered the ones that were too small for anyone in our family on the neighborhood listserv. I made some for my in-laws when they finally accepted that COVID was going to be here for a while. I reached deeper into my fabric stash, planning which patterns would be nice to bring out once the weather turned cold. I perfected the art of threading the bobbin. I learned what those error messages on my sewing machine meant. I could do this. And ultimately, of course, that's the thing. I could do this. There is so little I can do right now, so little that will make much of a difference at all. But I can cut and pin and sew. I can make these little double-layered pieces of cloth that protect my family and the world. Whenever I sit down at my machine, I feel the lines stretching back to the sewers before me, to the women who planted victory gardens, to all those who have cut up scraps and shared seeds with their neighbors and taken what they had around them to fashion something that would grow or protect or survive. Maybe someday we'll want a fancy mask or one with the perfect embroidery or a high-tech filter. For now, when I see my children's eyes peeking above the brightly colored fabric with its uneven stitches, I think, I can do this. We can do this. And I pull out the fabric pile and the straight pins again.
What on earth is going on in my heart? Has it turned as cold as stone? Seems these days I don't feel anything, unless it cuts me right down to the bone. What on earth is going on in my heart? Cause my oh my, you know, it just don't stop. It's in my mind, I wanna tear it up. I'm trying to fight it, trying to turn it off, but it's not enough. It takes a lot of love. It takes a lot of love, my friend, to keep your heart from freezing, to push on till the end. My oh my. What on earth is going on in my head? You know I used to be so sharp. You know I used to be so definite. Thought I knew what love was for. I look around these days, I'm not so sure. No, nah. My oh my, you know, it just don't stop. It's in my mind, I wanna tear it up. Been trying to fight it, trying to turn it off, but it's not enough. It takes a lot of love. It takes a lot of love, my friend, to keep your heart from freezing, to push on till the end. My oh my, you know I just can't win. I burn it down, it comes right back again. What kind of world is this we're living in, where you never win? It takes a lot of love. It takes a lot of love these days, to keep your heart from freezing, to keep your spirit free. My, oh my, you know it just don't stop. It's in my mind, I wanna tear it up. Been trying to fight it, trying to turn it off, but it's not enough. It takes a lot of love. It takes a lot of love, my friend, to keep your heart from freezing, to push on till the end. My, oh my, you know it just don't stop. My, oh my, you know it just don't stop. Just don't. My, oh my, you know it just don't stop. My, oh my, you know it just don't stop. My, oh my, you know it just don't stop. Well, my, oh my, you know it just don't stop. My, oh my, you know it just don't stop. My, oh my, you know it just don't stop.
Psalm 121, We Lift Up Our Weary Eyes, by Ali Beldegato. We lift up our eyes to the hills. From where will my help come? God of our understanding, hear our prayers. Where do we find help in these sorrowful times? We are seeking something to hold us, someone to hold us, for we feel so weary. Tired of the way that this virus is infecting our loved ones, sickening some and stealing others. Tired of the murderous rage of racism that is being used as the tool of execution against Black and brown bodies. We are so weary. Tired of worrying about how we will survive day after day in this pandemic. Tired of worrying if we are preparing our children for this world that they have inherited. We are so weary. Tired of feeling isolated in our homes, tired of not being able to greet each other with hugs and handshakes. We are so weary. From where will our help come? We lift our weary eyes. Spirit of life, we beseech you, help us to dig deeper into our faith. Not the faith of fairy tales and limited understanding, not the faith that these things will change somehow without our doing the work of change. Help us to dig deeper into our faith in humanity. We know that we have all that we need to fundamentally change these things. Racism. If we do the work of dismantling the system of white supremacy in our world, in our community, in our churches, in our congregations and fellowships, in our homes, and in ourselves, the spread of this pandemic, if we continue to hold the line against a government that places profit above lives. Survival. If we remind ourselves that if we have, we need to give. If we need, we can trust our community and ask for help. We know we are all a part of the interdependent web, each of us needing and each of us giving. That interdependence keeps us connected and makes us stronger. The education of our children. If we remember that, just like each of us, children strive to do justice, to love fully, to seek truth. Remind us that to truly protect them, we must be forthright in our telling of these events. Our isolation from community. If we remember that we have each other, we can depend on the web to hold us. Remind us that our bodies have stored the sensation of touches that have brought us joy and comfort. Remind us to wrap ourselves in this touch when we are missing each other. For we are right here and right there and right here. We are the keepers of each other. We are our shade and we are our healing light. We are the keepers of each other. We are our aid and we are our salvation. We are the keepers of each other. We are the weavers and we are the web. May we remember. May we act. May it be so. Ashe. Amen.
Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me. Comfort me, oh my soul. Stay with me. Stay with me. Stay with me, oh my soul. Stay with me. Stay with me. Stay with me, oh my soul. Sing with me. Sing with me. Sing with me, oh my soul. Sing with me. Sing with me. Sing with me, oh my soul. Pray with me. Pray with me. Pray with me, oh my soul. Pray with me. Pray with me. Pray with me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul.
The Turning by Kiana Dene Perkins. At the last turning, I was invited to a meeting among the sun, the earth, and the moon. The sun asked, "Do you have space in your heart for a great light?" The earth said, "I will hold you down if you are willing." The moon said, "I will guide you if you need it." And it was easy to say yes to the energies of balance. So for a turning, we have found ourselves dancing. The sun took the lead, sharing a drop of their luminescence. I held it deep in my heart when the darkness loomed, held it on the tip of my fingers when others called for it, coming to understand space, becoming a beacon, learning the nuance of shadow and light. The earth kept her word. I was planted deep and rooted hard. I was uprooted, replanted, and loved until I was healed and able to feel the small tug from soil, calling me down, demanding I grow again. And the moon, a sister auntie, stayed faithful at my side, always hovering, always playing, laughing, reminding me that joy takes many forms and keeps no schedule, reassuring me with loving pats and, "Oh, child," whispered commentary, a subtle and wanted companion on this journey. And the turning is coming again. The sun said, "Daughter, you have done well." The earth said, "Healer who is still healing, you have always have home." The moon said, "Beloved shadow worker, we will cast new spells soon." We radiate the light. We rotate the life. We revolve back into love. We enter a new season of possibilities.
It is a good day by Danielle DeBona. It is a good day. Breathe. Take a breath and feel the weight of the world lift from your body. Remember that you survived. No, thrived. Find your deep soul. Hold it in your hands and thank it. Thank that soul for its protection and power. We have survived. We are not the same, yet we have survived, battered and bruised. It is a good day. Breathe. Take a breath and feel the weight of the world lift from your body. Let your heart be filled with peace. Let us each, in our own way, offer thanks to that which is most holy for its protection and love. Amen.
I am one of many, one of thousands, an imperfect light. But I believe that we can come together, find our common answer, a fire in the night. If we let go of our fear and our greed, we can be the saviors that we need, hand in hand. We choose love. I can see the mistakes of our fathers, trouble on the waters, falling down the years. Can we heal all the poison spaces, forgotten broken places in our mother's tears? Can we hold a better future in our minds? Can we learn the secrets to be kind, hand in hand? We choose love. Hold a better future in our minds. We can learn the secrets to be kind, hand in hand. We choose love. I am one light, one of many, one of thousands, to give and to receive. I will choose to fight for others, fight for our home here, see the shining sea. We can let go of our fear and our greed. We can be the saviors that we need, hand in hand. choose love. I am one of many, one of thousands, an imperfect light. But I believe that we can come together, find our common answers, a fire in the night. If we let go of our fear and our greed, we can be the saviors that we need, hand in hand. We choose love. I can see the mistakes of our fathers.